Hey, welcome back to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy.
I'm Tim.
I'm Rod.
And today we're going to take a look at Homeland The Game. This is put out by Gale Force 9, plays 3 to 6 players in about 90 minutes. So let's take a look and see what you get in the box. This is what you get in the box with Homeland. Rod, do you want to talk about the components?
Okay, and this is just like every other Gale Force 9 game. A lot of components, a lot of tokens, a lot of cards that represent different things. You got the actual little figures here that represent basically your spies, and then basically your military guys that are going in, Delta Force type guys. You've got the cards have artwork on them. Well, not so much artwork, but actually pictures from the series. And each card is different, and each card has different abilities and so on. So for instance, for the assets, the intel cards are basically telling you, well, it's not so much what they're telling you, but it's giving you the ability to attack or go against some of the missions that you'll be going on. The actual tokens themselves are used for deciding where we are in the gameplay, showing us, representing the agency versus the bad guys. And the more of these tokens, of course, the more that we're ahead or behind, depending on which side you're on. All in all, everything that they have in here is good quality stuff. Card stock's thick, tokens are thick, nice large board. All in all, very, very good.
Awesome. All right, Tim, do you want to talk about the rules and how hard or easy it is to learn Homeland?
Sure. This is the instruction booklet. It's got the same kind of format that the Gale Force 9 usually uses. The big, I don't want to say flimsy, but just the big, thin magazine kind of paper here. What this does great in this format is the huge pictures here. I'll try to get a close up here. So that way you can really see what it's talking about. So that way it can actually give you a zoomed in picture because the instruction booklet is so big. This actual instruction booklet does a great job. It bolds all the chapter starts and everything, and the key words, so you can come back in here, you can find it. We did that in our games when we played. We actually, anytime we had a question, it was easy to come back into the instruction booklet and find it. It's got a great step-by-step for setting up and playing through your first turn, so that you can get an idea of the game. This game, once you do one round of every of the turns, you've got the game down. You'll understand everything and how it works, and that's all you really need to do. Honestly, you probably won't ever look at the instruction booklet after the first couple rounds. You'll just have it. You'll realize everything it has on the reference card. You can actually just reference this the entire time.
So in Homeland, you get to take the role of a CIA analyst, and you are going to try to stop terrorist threats, or at least you should try, because you are either a loyal agent, a political opportunist, or a terrorist mole. And so you get one of those cards at the beginning of the game. Based off of the number of people, they tell you to take this many cards and this mixture of cards, and so you mix them all together and you pass them out. Now, instantly what's unique about that is in every game there is a terrorist mole, but that doesn't mean that someone in the game could be him, because you shuffle up the cards, and there's always one more than there is players, and so in theory, the terrorist mole could be set to the side and no one will get it. But you could be a loyal agent, and so you're trying to stop all these threats, or you could be a political opportunist, and maybe you want the terrorists to attack. And so 3 roles, 3 identities, you could be on one of 3 sides. So that really adds, instead of a all of us against him role, there's a guy in the middle that wants both. And so that's how that works. You get your agenda card, you never show it throughout the game for any reason. No one should ever know who you are until the very end of the game. And what happens on a turn, based off of the number of players, you are going to reveal a plot card that has a couple things on it. So you're going to have Based off of the number of players, so let's say that there's a 3-player game, we would reveal 3 new plots each turn. And so the only thing that you know about it when it comes out is half of the threat. So it shows you a number right on the top that shows you half of the threat, and you don't know what's on the back of that card. So in this particular case, this shows you that it's a 1, but underneath it's a 6. And so all of these come out based off of, on the top of the card, it tells you what level to put it. So this one is a guarded card, so you put it here. There are all different kinds. There's low, guarded, elevated, severe, and imminent. And so on a round, you are going to do a couple things. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to place your case lead on a plot card. And so there, everybody knows this is your case. And if this terrorist threat is defeated, then you get the benefit that's listed on the front of the card and the number that's associated with it. So if I won this terrorist threat was destroyed, then I would get 3 reward for that. So if you're putting out your case cards, you're kind of looking for which one should I put it on. And then you're also going to be taking intel cards. And so these intel cards could be a couple things. They're either a blue card, which means good. And so if you have a blue card and you put it in a case, then that's going to add to the number to defeat a case. If you have a red card, then the red cards mean that that's a bad one. And so if you put that in a case, and that would help the terrorists win on that plot. The hard part in this is that each round you draw up to your hand size, and so you're going to get potentially red and blue cards. So even if you're a good guy, on your turn you have to play 2 cards. So if all you got was red cards, then you would be forced on that turn to play all red cards. And so that could confuse the people that work with you. They don't know what you put in there unless they use an ability. So at the end, when it's revealed, if on your case you got all these red cards, then they're going to start to put the puzzle together and say maybe Rod's a terrorist, or maybe Rod is a political opportunist. And so on your turn, you place a case lead, you place 2 cards, and then you're able to do a couple other things. You can turn in case cards for tokens, which tokens can be used to buy assets. You can take a agent or a soldier. Agents allow you to look at the plot card, so you're able to look and see how difficult it's going to be. So now I look and see that this is going to be a 6. Oh no, we need to work on that. Or the soldier cards allow you to look at all the intel cards that were put on a plot case. So Rod puts a bunch of cards under his, and I want to know what Rod's been doing. I play a soldier, and then I look at all the cards. The only catch to that is when you use a soldier, you have to put a random intel card into the case. And so maybe that adds to the you don't really know what's in there, what's going to be in there on a turn. And then after that, all of the cards move up a level, and you start over again. And so any case that is an imminent and it moves up, then you have to deal with that plot. So let's just make up a fake plot real quick, and let's say that this was our particular one right here. And let's say that this plot moved up. Then what you would do is reveal any cards that are under there in intel. And so we got some blue cards there that would add up to our number. We've got some red cards in there that add up and add to the red cards on the outside. And there's only one other kind of card that can be in there, and that's these cards that have text on them, and then you can actually just do whatever the text says. The game ends in a couple ways. If the terrorists ever win, it fills up this meter over here. Terrorists win regardless, it's over. If the agents fill up this side, then the agents win. And then you go into a phase where you're trying to figure out who the terrorist was. Everybody gets a chance to name somebody that they think is the terrorist. If they do, they get 6 points. If they don't, if they guess wrong, then they lose 3 points. And so then you're going to add up any points that you've acquired through tokens or points that are on your cards. Whoever has the most victory points wins. That also includes the terrorists. So that's how you basically play Homeland.
Yep.
So let's talk really quickly about what we thought about the game and initial thoughts when you played it.
So what I liked about it is what Tim doesn't like about it, is that there's the hidden stuff going on, that somebody's a terrorist and somebody's a political activist, which I think makes this game. I mean, that's the reason I like playing the game, is because of that right there. And so that's going on the whole time. And what's fun about that personally is that people are interesting when they're trying to lie to you, basically. And some people do it very well and some don't. And then some people that aren't even lying seem like they're lying. So it becomes pretty intriguing.
Yeah, because if all it was playing these cards out and then you're trying to play the right cards to it, it just would not be the same game.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Totally. So what'd you think about it, Tim?
I thought it was odd that they picked this IP for this game because they could have honestly gone with any IP. They probably should have just gone without an IP at all because the show itself plays no effect on the actual gameplay. It's only artwork. So the basic idea of the game, I guess, was loosely based on the show in some way. But there's no, like, you never play with those special agents from the show or any of the characters. They're never even mentioned on any of the game pieces. On some of the artwork, they're mentioned, but that's it. So maybe it was more of like a advertising thing. They like try to pull in people that like the show.
The game. Which I did on Facebook. I mentioned something. I posted a picture of us playing this, and I did get a hit where somebody said, "Oh, I love the show. How's the game?" You know, so
Right.
I think that's definitely the hook for some people. I've never seen the show, not one episode, so for me, it didn't pull me in at all. But I still enjoyed how it played. So at the end of our reviews, we like to do a one-die rating. Should you buy it, play it, or hate it? So green means go buy this game and add it to your collection. White means maybe you wouldn't buy this game, but you definitely play it. And then red means you wouldn't buy it and you wouldn't play it because you hate it. So all three of us will get the die that we have chosen and reveal. Ta-da! White, green, green. Okay, so tell us why you gave it a white.
Well, it is a lying game. If you watch the other shows, you know that I'm opposed to that. Not really a fan of the lying and the deceiving games. And that is, a big part of this game is all about deception. But otherwise, I mean, it had some fun mechanics. It did allow you to secretly lie instead of lying straight to everybody's face.
That's true.
So there's that part. So that's why I gave it a white and not just a straight red.
Okay. I gave it a green. I'll be honest with you, this is not a game that I would want to play all the time. But it is to me better than, like, and I know we'll get some hate for this, but the Resistance, I feel like to me that game is overplayed because it's just, especially if you play with maybe the same people or people that are not that inventive in the ways that they lie to you. To me, some of that strategy kind of just falls unless you're the guy that just wants to dive deep in and analyze everything that people do. Like, this to me gives me some strategy behind that. So I like the hidden identity, but there's a lot more game to it. So there's a lot more that you could do that adds to the suspense of what somebody really is. So like I said, I'm not going to want to play this every time we get together, or maybe not every other time that we get together, but it is a good one to have on the shelf and you say, man, let's play Homeland and that'll be fun. I definitely have that feeling.
Sure. So I feel the same thing. The nice thing about Homeland is it's a very easy game. It takes maybe after the first round, you pretty much understand what's going on. Maybe a little bit with the asset cards you got to understand, but other than that, it's very simple.
It's true, yeah.
So everyone picks up on it quickly. I'm not so sure it's a 90-minute game if you have 6 people, but it's going to be under 2 hours probably. So I think all in all, it's a nice starter game too. If you have new people in the group, it's great. It's a good one to put in there. Like you said, it's more than the Resistance, because I'm not a big fan of those games at all. And there's more to it. There's more meat to it. But it's not overblown either. So
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I think price point, the whole thing, I think it's a good value.
So that's our review of Homeland the Game. We've got a lot more reviews on our website, boardgamecloset.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And as always,
Support your local hobby shop.